Hey everyone, and welcome to Sam's Stories, the place where we break down psychology with simple, everyday stories. You know, we've done a lot of these explainers, but this one is a must-watch if you're serious about understanding how you tick. We're going to talk about a wild idea. What if your actions shape who you are, and not the other way around?
Okay, let me just ask you this straight up. Can faking a smile, just forcing one, actually make you feel happier? It sounds like something from a cheesy self-help book, right? But what if there's some real hard science behind it?
Believe it or not, the science actually says, yeah, it can. So way back in the 70s, the psychologist James Laird did an experiment where he basically got people to hold pencils in their mouths to force their faces into a smile or a frown. And the results were kind of shocking. The people who were smiling actually said they felt happier. This isn't just some random fluke, it's a little window into a really cool psychological theory. And that brings us to the main event. Self-perception theory. This idea totally flips the script on that old saying, I think, therefore I am. It kind of suggests that sometimes it's more like, I do something, therefore I must be that kind of person. So what is this theory, really? Well, in a nutshell, it says that when we're not sure how we feel about something, when our feelings are a bit murky, we figure it out by looking at our own actions. It's like we're an outsider looking in on ourselves, thinking, I just did that, so I guess I must feel this way about it. The guy who came up with this is a psychologist named Daryl put it perfectly. He said your behavior often weighs more than your mood when you're figuring out your attitude. Basically, your actions can become the bedrock for your beliefs, sometimes even overpowering how you feel in the moment. To really put this to the test, a legendary experiment was set up. So, picture this. You get two groups of people to do a super boring task. Then you pay them to lie to the next person in line and say it was actually fun. Here's the kicker. One group gets paid just $1 to lie, and the other group gets $20. So who do you think ended up convincing themselves that the boring task was actually kind of fun? You'd think it's the $20 group, but nope, it was the people who only got paid a single dollar. And here's why. The people who got $20 had an easy excuse. They could just say, yeah, I lied, but hey, it was for $20. The money was a clear reason. But the $1 group, they couldn't really justify lying for such a measly amount. So their brains did this incredible backflip. They reasoned, well, I wouldn't lie for just $1, so I guess I must have actually enjoyed that task a little bit. Their action changed their attitude. Now, if this is starting to sound familiar, you might be thinking of its more famous cousin in the psychology world, cognitive dissonance. And yeah, they seem similar, but they're actually talking about two totally different things happening inside your head. So let's break it down. Cognitive dissonance is that nasty, uncomfortable feeling you get when your actions go against a strong belief you already have. You change your attitude just to get rid of that yucky tension. Self-perception, on the other hand, kicks in when you don't really have a strong opinion to begin with. There's no tension, no discomfort. You're just calmly looking at what you did to figure out where you stand. So that leads to the big question, right? Which one is it? Are our attitudes shaped by that uncomfortable tension, or is it more of a calm observation? And the really cool answer is, they're both right. They just work in different situations. Dissonance is for when you do something that clashes with a core value, like a hardcore environmentalist buying a gas guzzler. Self-perception is for when you're in a new situation, forming an attitude from scratch, like trying a new restaurant and thinking, wow, I finished the whole plate. I must have really liked it. Okay, so this isn't just some abstract thing psychologists talk about. It is used in the real world all the time, especially when it comes to persuasion. I bet you've had this happen to you through a classic technique called the foot in the door. Here's the deal. A salesperson doesn't just come out and ask for the big sale. They start small. Got a minute? You say yes. Mind if I show you how this works? You say yes again. Every time you say yes, your brain is watching. It starts thinking, I keep saying yes. I must actually be interested in this thing. Your own actions build up an attitude that makes that final big yes feel totally natural. So we get the theory, we see how it's used in sales, but what about you? How can you actually use this stuff for your own good? This is where it gets really interesting, where self-perception can be a game changer for personal growth. This is the most important takeaway. For real, you can act your way into a new way of thinking. You don't have to wait until you feel motivated to go to the gym. Just put your shoes on and go. Your brain sees you doing that and starts to build the identity. Oh, I'm the kind of person who goes to the gym. The action comes first and the belief follows right behind.
Look at this. It perfectly shows that mental flip. The old way of thinking keeps you stuck. I'm shy, so I can't talk to people. But this self-perception way breaks you out of that box. You just start talking to people, even if it's hard, and your brain sees this new evidence and goes, wait a minute, I guess I'm more outgoing than I thought. Your actions literally create a new reality for your mind.
Now, we have to be clear here. This is a super powerful way to understand how your mind works, but you should use it thoughtfully. We're just sharing the information, so please use it at your own risk. Real change is a journey, but man, understanding this principle is one heck of a first step.
So I'll leave you with this question. What is one small action, just one, that you could take today to start building a new belief about yourself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear them. Oh, and let us know where you're watching from. If you dug this explainer, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into how your mind works. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you in the next one.